Hello, my name is Dante Renee, and welcome to the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more. Like tonight's film, this is 2010's Vacation by Zach Clark. 2010's Vacation, and here is amazing poster art right here without the glare. Look at that. That's the movie right there, folks. And a film by Zach Clark. Not to be confused with the film called Vacation, based on the newer National Lampoon's vacation films. This is a movie that I never heard of before. A movie that was kind of just exposed to me through being recommended to me online when I was purchasing other things or a sale, I think it was. And I saw the title. I also knew another Zach Clark film, and I believe that is called White Reindeer. I believe he did that. And if so, you know exactly what you're getting yourself into, or do you? Vacation is one of those films that is definitely not for the average moviegoer. A group of girls with some history going to the beach. There's something about two things. There's something about the idea of relationships you've had in the past, stories you've had in the past, memories you've had in the past, and then tapping into that again in the future. Will it be the same? Will it be the same since you guys aren't in college anymore? Will you be able to hang out in the same way now that you're older? How do friendships change? The friendships you've had, let's say you have a friendship from, junior high school, and now you're, in your 30s or 40s and you still know this person. How do friendships change like that? Through the different phases of life. There is something very special, by the way, I think, about a friendship that you've had for most of your life. It's probably rare, but for most of your life, because those types of friendships can be maybe reminiscent of what a relationship should actually be like. Through every phase of your life, fighting and still being together, and going through the worst crap and the best crap, and that person mostly seeing every single side of you. All the people you dated, all of your health problems, health scares, all your different jobs, all the different places you lived in, all that kind of stuff, all the ways you change as a person, and that yet they're still there. It's probably the ideal situation of what marriage should be like, right? So I actually know a married couple that has literally been dating, like now they're like in their 40s, but they've been dating since they were in, I think, junior high school. And that's like extremely rare. But also, there's a special quality to that, like I mentioned. You also have the idea in Vacation of what spurs on people wanting to get away, to take a vacation outside of their home. What makes you want to leave your home and go someplace else for a quote vacation? Are you just physically getting away for a change of scenery, or are you also emotionally getting away from something or some things or people? But oftentimes you're traveling with the people that you're living with, within reason. So there's the aspect of what are you trying to get away from? And sometimes there's that idea of, that phrase, what happens in Vegas, stays in Vegas. But the idea that I'm I'm not going to remember anything the way my life was. And for this week or even a weekend, in this film, it's a week, I'm going to completely not remember my normal day-to-day existence, and I'm going to exist in another world. And vacation is another world. There is a style to this film that is poppy, pulpy, avant-garde, experimental, art house, and grindhouse. There's that aspect all kind of mixing together. There is surrealism. There is even if it's not surrealism necessarily, there's a kind of a world of where logic is not exactly, logic and spoon-fed movie making is not the focus here. We're operating on different levels. And we have drugs in the film. We have tonal shift changes in the film. We have introspection in the film, and conversations in the film, and friendships and relationships, new and old. We have a sexuality that is also kind of linked to vacation, linked to friendships from the past, bringing them into the present. Lesbianism, we have masturbation, we have the idea of filming, the idea of hallucinations and alternate realities influenced from drug realities. How life can shift so quickly. How it's difficult for us to die, but it's also really easy for us to die too. We have a really important soundtrack and score in this film, with some punk music, with some really great kind of indie electronica bands or music. And then we also, kind of have a score that's also, introspective and also really, it pops like neon lights. The style of how it displays each day of the week of their vacation. So you're starting the vacation with them, and then you're ending the vacation with them. But the way Tuesday and Wednesday pops up on the screen, and we have the idea of death in this film, and the idea of not facing death, and dealing with death, dealing with loss. And then also how death of someone else can connect to the things about our own lives that we are not happy with or proud of. Letting go, letting loose, the bizarre, the stressful philosophy of life. Kind of the questions of life, dealing with life, where we are today. It's not perfect. It's not perfect by any means. We've made mistakes. We've made different decisions. We we can't really be perfectionists about our lives. If our lives are movies, you know, there are lots of genres in our life, and there are a lot of genres in this film as well. We have sexploitation, exploitation, horror, art house, like I said, almost like a Sofia Coppola film, and then, you know, also surrealism and some wild stuff in here. We have, you know, a great dose of sexuality in here. We have, you know, things are not spoon fed to you at all. So you literally have to just spend time with the characters to learn who they are. And you're still not going to totally understand. There's an idea of sadness in this film as well. And how you can get pumped up to do something with someone, and 2 days in you guys are already fighting, or there's already tension. Reality versus fantasy. And there's a lot of openness in this film as to what exactly is happening, but the death of somebody close to you, lots of different emotions can happen. And death in general, death of a pet, death of a friend, where the way you deal with it and the traces of that person that you carry with you, physically, literally, or, you know, emotionally, are very potent. You will never forget. Sometimes you'll forget mentally, but you'll never forget spiritually. The connection with that person, and it'll reflect in your own life. You'll carry pieces of that person with you. There is shock in this film. There is possibly pitch black humor in this film. You know, great breasts in the film. There is an idea of the uncertainty of people, how dangerous we really all are. I don't mean hurting other people. I'm saying how dangerous our emotions are, how erratic our emotions are, how crazed our emotions are. And only we really know that behind closed doors. We try to, you know, make things look really good, you know, to other people online or face to face, but they're getting our best. And Vacation is a film that is difficult, totally bizarre, with lots of style. It's low budget and has a lot to do, has a lot to say. It's sexy, weird, and dark, and rough, wild, fun, yet not fun. And the last 30 minutes are bewildering. Especially the last 15 minutes are just bewildering, because there are shifts in the film that are happening. And like, you think, oh, is this going to be like the movie Spring Breakers, or, you know, which also had some major shifts, by the way, as well. Definitely. But these shifts are much weirder. Is this going to be like a party film? You know, is this going to be like a fun, you know, vacation girls party film, a sexy party film? Maybe a little. And then the shifts happen. Somebody in the back of this disc here says, visually stunning, perfectly weird. Melancholia and pina coladas. An edgy cocktail laced with longing and nihilism. And yes, there is a blender scene in this film, and not what you think at all. Don't even try to conjure up whatever you think I mean by that? Because in Vacation, it will redefine blenders for you in a way you've never conceived of before. 2010's by Zach Clark, Vacation. This poster art is actually the perfect representation of this film.